the way we conceptualize a culture is like it depends less on the existing resources or heritage, but more on the way we approach it. Like for example, the way we international students consider U.S. U.S. is not a place that we will come back or we go somewhere.
Right.
It's a place that we come with something inside our
some like
mind,
intention,
like some hope, some optimism, something. But like there will be the people who consider U.S. their home, the place that they come back, and because there's a place that they come back after probably like traveling the world, for example, there must be something already there for them to attach their identity to. So I think it really depends on the way, like the approach, the way you attach yourself with the culture, rather than the pre-or characteristics of the cultures.
Right. Yeah. So what you mean is like for somebody to kind of like consider like any country or like especially like US as like their like home or whatever.
Yeah,
they
just
like they must
be different from ours.
Yeah.
But still, then what do you think about the last election?
Okay.
What was your first reaction?
My first reaction. Well, like I mean, that's a good question. Like, I kind of like saw that like that was coming.
No,
like,
really.
I was like, I think I was not like
shocked or something.
I mean, like frankly speaking, I actually don't know much about both of the candidates. I mean, I hear a lot about like a Trump, but like I didn't know much about like what his like actual like policies or whatever were. But I mean, but still like I don't think like I very much like wanted like the people to elect Hillary
I
Clinton.
totally understand.
Despite like I don't know, I literally don't know anything of what she like had written in the like documents or like
But, actually, I think that there will be many people who agree with you, who believe that politics after all is just a game. It does not have that much say in the real situation, and of course there will be the people who disagree. Then, do you think, like for example, if you are going to spend at least 1 decade or at least a few years in US, then do you think what field will have important what field will have like important influence on the US as a whole, or on the US field that you care, that you work on?
Like what field as like a
like science,
work field? Oh, right.
Like if there's some something that you wait with excitement, what will it be rather than the election?
Oh, like in terms of like what fields like what field I look for in the US like rather than like politics.
If you if you don't care that much about politics.
Oh, I look at like science like US is like really like it's like a really wonderful place for like science, especially. So the thing about US is like I don't think like they have like their high school education is not as great as like many other countries in the world, but their like college and like graduate program is like the best, I would say, in the world. And and the thing about like that Trump is like I mean, I don't think like Hillary Clinton would have like, although I didn't know what her policy was, but he like Trump like dissolved like lots of like environmental agencies, like lots of like educational like agencies, and like does not believe in like certain like really like basic like things like scientific facts that like I strongly believe in. So because of that, I would probably not have like I mean, I would not. I didn't even like. I didn't like him anyways. I didn't like him to win this election anyways. But also like there was the thing that it was like whatever I looked at, like he was always made like a bad figure, and like Hillary Clinton was already made a good figure. So that definitely had a very big influence on like my anticipation for the results. Despite the fact that like I had like hardly looked at any of their like proposals or whatever.
Yeah. You just mentioned a very interesting fact. So, like in US, the high school education is not that great,
Right.
but their college and graduate schools are the best.
Right.
You think why? Like because last week my friend
Right.
in biology,
Right.
biology major, he just shared with me a very interesting idea.
Right.
His American friend got like quite low grade in the theoretical exam,
Yeah.
but was very confident when doing lab
Right.
activities. And like he was wondering, he's from Vietnam too, and he's just wondering like how can a person be so confident in doing lab activities? Why his theoretical knowledge is not that sound?
Yeah.
Like what really matters is his self-confidence, the initiativeness. Do you think it's part of the culture that constitutes the success of U.S. college and graduate schools?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think like well, I think it also depends on what lab or what kind of like
I mean, like
research
it's
you are
just
doing,
a
but
general question.
but yeah, like but I like definitely think like because like I mean lab is a actually really good example because like lab does not necessarily all the time involve like just like theoretical knowledge. Like if I know something about like like waves, I know everything about it. So like everything there is to know in the physics book. That doesn't mean that I can operate the like the like a spectrogram or I don't know what like that machine. Those machines like the wave machines and like I could like analyze, I could look and like look at the patterns, like see that there are like different notes and like six notes, 7 notes depending on what frequency I'm changing, like the number of notes changes. Like I can't just like know about that and then like figure everything out. So I think probably what your friend saw was that like in the US, and also like I sometimes see is like people don't have like very strong like theoretical knowledge about like certain things, but because of like how like how like they like I think usually in the US like it's more like as a like a culture and like whatever, like they're like people are kind of like want to engage and like do this and that, like
Yeah, it's part of the culture.
right. And also I think in school like kind of like freedom and like kind of like thinking your own, like thinking for yourself, like those kind of things are like kind of emphasized, and that's very helpful for like lab works, like like in the lab, like it's like kind of like a creative process, like unlike theoretical, like you have a certain like I don't think you can be creative about like describing how like the number of node changes when you changes the frequency. Like I don't think there is like that much creative in like writing that, but there is definitely creativity involved in like trying to analyze the data like that you get while like in doing the same same like experiment determined by the theoretical problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the reason.
Yeah. Then do you think if we focus on this aspect of the culture,
Right.
do you think, for example, if you study physics
Right.
in a Netherlands university or
Right.
compared with studying physics at a U.S. college, would you be different?
Yeah, I mean for sure. But I don't think this part like, plays a huge role, because I think that part plays a huge role before high school. If I were to do high school here, then I think like I could say that's like plays a huge factor. But the thing that would make me different, much more different than like a student in like back home, is like the exposure to like world class kind of like research, or like along the same domain, like like our country is like very still like very developing, and
So like
like
there
there's
was
like
not opportunities for research.
right, like I mean they are like really smart people. Like I know really really smart people, but I don't think like our system encourages them to like kind of innovate and like kind of like, so it's more like you like take exam and you pass and you like that's how you know like
Yeah.
whether you
You like
made
the
it or not.
initiative to do something
Right.
after so.
Right, but like just like I mean like nowadays like there are like resources online, like there are like lots of resources online.
Yeah.
You just need people to show or like tell you like where you to find like even that particular, or like kind of encouraging that particular practice, like if somebody goes online and like looks
Yeah.
and
So
then
it's
like
not
try
just
to
about freedom; it's also about initiative,
right.
activeness.
Well, actually I think I would tie that with kind of freedom, or like giving freedom to like study whatever, not whatever in general sense, but like whatever in certain domain, like like if let's say like like okay, let's say in my thermal physics class, like we have like couple of students, and at the end of the semester we will study like a bunch of things. I mean, taking technology aside, I think technologically also like US is very strong. But like I mean, let's say like forget about technology. Let's say like both institutions here and there have like the same kind of technology. Just but like just like let's say like the course is also like similarly like like similar parts, like we have theoretical like part, and then there's like a project. Also, they might also have like a theoretical part and then a project. But just like the approach that is taken like in class, it's very like we are given like we are directed to, okay, let's say see like recently there was this like discovery, and like and do you want to like look at the paper, and then like they put papers like online, like professor puts paper online, and like if somebody is interested to go and like look like take an independent project in that particular like area, then like you can have the resources now.
Okay.
While like back home, also like we have like at least like our Arlem College library like has like tons of resources.
Yeah,
Like
I totally agree.
if there is no resources here, then like
Interlibrary.
interlibrary alone, like they are like
Resources always there, opportunities always there,
Right.
encouragement is always there.
right. Whereas like back home, like I mean like somebody is, I mean the same material, like you have to like really like put an effort to get.
Yeah.
And even if you get like if you put an effort and then you get, then I don't know like how many times you will be like kind of encouraged to do that, because of the system, like it's more like grades and like those kind of things are more emphasized than like kind of freedom in like learning and like innovation and stuff.
Yeah. Like I observe a very same thing too. And actually I wrote some like newspapers articles
Right.
about the let's call it the learning style that we
Right.
experience here, and compare it with the learning style back home, because I genuinely believe that
Right.
It's not just the problem of technicality or
Right.
the human resources. It's more
Right.
about the attitude, and you can just apply the attitudes here to
Right.
at home and transform a whole generation. And
Right.
I naively believe so, until I realize that the attitude itself is not just the problem of individual mindset.
Right.
It's also contingent on the